There's a secret every founder carries, a weight that never leaves them but rarely finds a voice. It's not about missing numbers, failed launches, or the pitch that didn't land. That's obvious. You see those openly. The regret is quieter, buried deep inside, and it gnaws away at the soul because it's about who you became in the process, not just what you built. Somewhere down this road, many founders realized they traded pieces of themselves for a dream that others applauded but never truly saw. You gave your time, your energy, your nights, and everyone cheered the product while nobody asked if you felt broken inside or whole. This isn't about the hustle myth glorifying endless grind. It's about the brutal cost that the grind extracts, piece by piece, until you don't even recognize the person in the mirror anymore. You know that sleepless night when the success feels hollow and the applause muffled? That's the moment the quiet regret whispers the loudest. The fear that you're trapped in someone else's expectations, disguised as your own ambitions. You wonder if you lost your passion somewhere between fundraising calls and endless meetings, if the fire that sparked your startup was doused by the weight of relentless pressure and constant compromise. That relentless pressure that forces your soul to bend in silent anguish because around you are faces looking for guarantees, for stability, for the safe exit, and they never want to hear the brutal truth. Sometimes, founders don't feel victorious. They feel exhausted, haunted, and painfully small. And because the world demands you wear a mask, you bury this truth deeper, convinced that admission is a weakness you can't afford. Maybe the darkest regret isn't failure, it's invisibility. You built something important, maybe even incredible, but you're still isolated like you're stranded on a lonely island, unreachable, misunderstood, surrounded by noise, by well-meaning advice and endless how-to tactics, but nothing pierces that cloud of loneliness. Because founders aren't just building companies, they are building lives, and what they're building often feels like it's being done alone, handcuffed to a cycle of endless decisions, doubt, and sacrifice. The rare moments of joy slip faster than breath, replaced by the cold, sterile certainty that nobody will ever truly see what it costs to get here. Here's the brutal truth nobody tells you. The systems around you don't want you to be more than a cog, a symbol, a story they can package and sell. They want the founders who play by their rules, who follow the expected script, who sell out the wild spirit to make things neat and predictable. If you're feeling unseen, it's because the world isn't built for you. It's built for easy, for conformity, for the comfortable. It's hostile territory for the rare, for the stubborn few who refuse to shrink, who dare to carry a flame too bright for a world stuck in dim routines. So the question everyone avoids is, what if the regret you're hiding is the regret of becoming what the system shaped you to be, rather than who you were born to become? But this isn't a story without hope. In fact, the cure is radical and pure in its simplicity. What if the answer isn't to push harder in isolation, but to rediscover your individuality, fiercely, and find the right few who ignite the parts of you thought had died? Because the greatest founders, not just the ones with the biggest exits or loudest media coverage, those who will change everything, they don't move forward alone. They don't rely on the approval of noise or join crowds just to shout louder. They find their tribe of fire starters, of weird, misunderstood ones, the few who burn with just as much raw need to break the mold and build something new from the ground up. This isn't networking as usual. This is raw, ruthless alignment. It's finding the people who see you, who match your intensity, and challenge your limits until that hidden regret fades beneath the power of shared purpose. You don't fix the silent regret by doing more of the same. You shatter it by tearing down the fences they built around ambition and freedom. Stop chasing comfort dressed as success. Stop living life measured by the applause of the many, who know nothing about your war inside. What if you start by reclaiming sovereignty over your will, your single greatest weapon? Question everything you've been told is the way. Throw out the rule book written by people who don't understand what it means to be unapologetically you. This is about rewriting your reality on your terms, not molding yourself to fit expectations. Patience is the unusual secret here. It's brutal because the world screams for instant results, for rapid scale, for early triumph. But eternity favors the founder who plays the long game, the one who knows that transformation isn't a moment, it's a lifetime. This is about endurance that stretches beyond wins and losses, beyond market shifts, beyond every breath-stealing crisis. It's about cultivating a relentless commitment to becoming, not just building. Becoming a person who is sovereign over their story, who refuses to be systematized or simplified. Imagine a space, not wide and shallow with millions shouting and saying nothing, but deep and fierce, where every connection is a spark that electrifies your vision, and every relationship pushes you closer to the version of yourself you keep hiding even from yourself. This network, radical, autonomous, unbound by borders or noise, is the antidote to isolation, to disconnection, to that shame that your struggle isn't visible. When misaligned brilliance finds alignment, the regret of past compromises loses its power because you're no longer carrying burdens alone. You're weaving a web of raw, brutal support based on a shared refusal to accept the world's lies. You weren't made for ordinary. You weren't meant to be a cautious, silent caricature of ambition. You were forged for fire, and fire burns everything that's comfortable. It burns conformity. It burns empty success. And at its highest flame, it lights up the path for others who refuse to settle or silence their hunger. This is not about fitting in. It's about standing apart with ferocity and finding those who will burn alongside you. Because transformation isn't polite. It's not pretty. It's wild, untamed, and it's the only way to turn secret regrets into roaring triumphs. So reject the illusion that you have to do this alone, or that being vulnerable is failure. The world doesn't reward authenticity because it's easy. It rewards it because it's rare. When you dare to question, to unlearn, to burn away what's comfortable, you uncover power no system can steal. You become a founder in the truest sense, not just someone who creates a company, but someone who redefines reality. That's the secret that heals every wound, every regret you've been hiding. When you connect with those who honor your fire, who respect your individuality, and who refuse to let you give up on the wildest parts of yourself, you stop begging for permission and start claiming your place. And here's the brutal blessing. The regrets won't disappear because life isn't perfect, but they lose their stranglehold when you're part of something bigger in a way that honors your truth, your fire, and your rage against the mundane. You become unstoppable, not because you push harder, but because you burn brighter, fiercer, with others who refuse to let you fade. That secret regret? It's the signpost pointing to where you need to break free, to rewrite the rules, to join the few who won't settle, who won't be quiet, who won't stop until the world itself is remade in the image of your fiercest dreams. For every founder watching right now, the question is clear. Will you let the regret consume you in silence, or will you dare to become more than anyone expected, to rise up not despite your scars, but because of them? Because the world isn't looking for safe bets. It's waiting for those who dare to burn, who refuse to bow, and who remember that real freedom comes when every chain, inside and out, is shattered by an unbreakable will. The choice isn't easy, it's raw, but it's yours. And in that choosing, there lies everything.